Hello, everyone. Just waiting for some people to join us. I'd like to thank you for taking part in our webinar today. I'll give it another 30 seconds before we get going. If you are with us right now, could you please confirm if you can see our screen, if you're able to hear me, if you're able to hear my colleague, Emily?
Hi, everyone. I guess you can just type 2 in the comment.
Great, thank you so much. So we'll be getting started very shortly. Okay, then. So, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I don't see anyone commenting right now. So I wonder if we would just maybe wait one more minute.
Okay, great. So we'll give it about 1 more minute before we get going. Like I said, if you are listening in right now, you just put in the comments if you're able to hear us and if you're able to see our screen. Okay, well, I think we should probably get going to make the most of our 20 minutes. Thank you for everyone who's joining us today. If you're watching this in the live stream or if you're watching the recording, thank you so much for tuning in. We are the FinFun team, and I'll be sharing a little bit about what FinFun does, but in particular for today's webinar, we are going to be speaking around the pros and cons between mobile banking apps and banking chatbots. So to begin, as I mentioned, we are from the FinFun team. And what is FinFun? FinFun is a fintech that specializes in banking chatbots that drive financial inclusion. We are particularly focused on the emerging markets in the African continent. Our chatbots are transactional, which I'll be going more into detail soon, but we are looking to provide solutions to microfinance institutions and financial service providers who are looking to bring more people into the financial system. My name is Sarah McCrae, and I lead the business development for FinFun, and I'll let my colleague Emily introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily, the CEO and founder of FinFun. I'm very happy to have you attending the webinar today.
Okay, thank you so much. As you can see right here on the screen, there are some QR codes that are available, and these would put you directly in contact with us. So if you are interested in knowing more about FinFun and banking chatbots, please feel free to reach out to us directly. So before we go into the content of today, I'd like to put a little bit of context. So today we are going to be speaking about mobile banking apps and banking chatbots. When we refer to mobile banking apps, we are referring to standalone apps. So apps that are specific to a financial institution. And within these apps, they are dependent on access to internet to be downloaded onto a smartphone, and internet in order to function with the financial service provider. On these mobile banking apps, you're able to do a series of financial transactions, and you're also able to access savings and loans products. We are also going to be speaking today about banking chatbots. Banking chatbots in the world in the financial sector, chatbots are often known for customer service. So providing opportunities to filter customer requests to a potential call center, and by providing frequently asked questions. The chatbots that we are talking about today have those functionalities, but they're also transactional, which means that they are connected to the core banking system of a financial service provider, meaning that through a banking chatbot, you are able to access your bank account and perform banking transactions. So you're also able to manage your account and access loans and savings products. Today, we are going to be talking about the differences and the pros and cons between these two digital channels. We are particularly speaking to those who are interested in the role that chatbots have on financial inclusion. So anyone who is working within a financial service provider as a head of product, head of marketing, head of digital transformation, CEO of a microfinance institution, or the other fintech companies who are interested in this line of work as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments, and we will be getting around to those at the very end. Now my colleague Emily is going to be taking you more into the use cases of these two digital channels, as well as how they compare in terms of user accessibility, channel management, and the overall pros and cons between the two channels.
Thank you, Sarah. So every digital channel serves a purpose, and obviously some digital channels are better than others for specific use cases. So that's why now I really want to highlight the different use cases that both technologies, meaning here mobile banking apps and banking chatbots, can propose, so that we can see the differences between both, but also the overlapping in the different use cases. So as you can see here, both applications the customer will conveniently do banking transactions over their application, as well as customer service, so that they can reach the call center or ask a question. So as people are, as banks are building remotely their customer relationship, then obviously it will result into more efficiency in terms of operation and cost. So the difference in use cases for banking chatbot compared to mobile banking application is the customer acquisition. So what do I mean by customer acquisition? I mean lead generation. So lead generation would be basically using a banking chatbot so that it can collect different information on a user. Then this information would be ideally transferred to the core banking system of a bank, and then up to the bank to do follow-up actions afterwards to be able to convert a prospect into a real customer. So for sales, the use case of customer acquisition would be, for instance, for loans, a full 100% digital loan cycle. So for instance, someone would be able to apply for a loan over the chatbot, get his loan analyzed through a credit scoring, and even go to a full disbursement within a mobile money wallet, for instance. And chatbots are also very good for opening accounts remotely. So the last use case I want to talk about, which is over the customer acquisition, is also financial education, because it goes hand in hand with the way people can use properly your financial products and services. They can understand them. So financial education, with the way banking chatbots are designed, it's really easy to engage with the end users, provide some loan simulators or savings simulators, so that you make sure people can properly understand your products, especially in countries where the microfinance sector is quite important. So now that you have a better idea of the different use cases between both technology, I want to highlight the main differences based on two different perspectives. One of them is user accessibility, and the second one is channel management. So as you can see here, we are comparing again mobile banking application with banking chatbots under a user accessibility dimension with different components. So we ranked a mobile banking app as medium to high in terms of digital literacy requirements, just because, well, like any other app, you need to get familiar with the application. The user interface and the user experience can be different from an app to another. So it requires a little bit more complexity in the way you can use your device. Well, it's quite different with banking chatbots, because basically the user interface and the user experience will be the same as if you were texting a friend over WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, for instance. So in terms of customer uptake, mobile banking apps are considered as quite difficult just because there are a lot of barriers to adoptions for mobile banking application. So when you think about it, a user needs to know first if there is a mobile banking application existing for your bank. They need to either scan a QR code or go on a link or search for your app on Google Play or on Apple Store, for instance. Then they will have to download the app. They will have probably to log in, so create an account to be able to see their account balance or perform banking transactions. Not to say that eventually they will probably have to upgrade the version of the mobile banking application. So that's a lot of steps before even being able to engage and interact directly with your brand. For banking chatbot, it's way more easier because people are using messaging platforms. It's on everyone's phone, and it's really just about sending a text to be able to engage easily with the banking chatbot. As for phone type, because mobile banking applications are more sophisticated and also heavier, then you will need a storage-capable phone and also a certain amount of RAM to make sure that the user experience is smooth enough. As for banking chatbots, it's quite compliant with any type of smartphone. So especially for banking chatbots that are integrated to messaging platform apps. So for instance, some messaging platform applications are especially designed for country where connection is unstable and they are using less storage on very entry-level basic smartphones. So for the network, it's for banking chatbots, it requires only 2G, and not to say that in some countries, mobile money operators would also offer some free basic package where people can, for instance, very conveniently use mobile banking application for a fair price. So the second perspective is channel management. Again, we're comparing mobile banking application with banking chatbot. In terms of cost, it's way more expensive to be able to handle a mobile banking application. It can go up to 500K easily for banking chatbot, depending on the type of features you have. And also if you have AI, then it can go in average from 20 to 60K. Flexibility, we already covered this topic. So banking chatbots are a little bit more flexible in the way they can cover different use cases. For the implementation, mobile banking application will take at least a bare minimum of 1 year by the time you get the mobile app developed and also launched on the market. For banking chatbot, I would say that it's a more agile channel, just because you can very easily launch the chatbot on the market to gain competitive edge. And after, you could add some more features that can be launched afterwards. As for updates, banking chatbot can be easily iterate over time, tweaking a little bit the user experience, add on some new features. For mobile banking application, you will need to have a specific upgrade, so you're changing the version of your mobile application. So it can take an average 3 to 6 months. For the management, mobile banking application is a quite complex IT project. It would require for a bank to have some robust internal resources to be able to manage such project, even if it's done with a provider. As for banking chatbot, it's way more simpler. Okay, so we go to the pros and cons, which is the main topic of the webinar today. Pros for mobile banking. As I said, the user experience, the user interface, is more sophisticated, which might help to perform more complex banking transactions. And also an interesting thing with a mobile banking app is that you can really keep control on the consistency of your brand identity and graphic, whereas on a banking chatbot, because it's integrated to a third-party channel, then you're losing a little bit this control on your brand. For pros for banking chatbots, something I want to talk about is the levels of digital literacy. It's very interesting because with a chatbot, you can very easily simulate a USSD user experience, which might be interesting for some of you that are targeting people that are used to this type of technology. But you could go even further with more sophisticated user experience by being able to simulate a real conversation with the user to engage more with him using AI. So for cons of mobile banking app, as we said earlier, it's quite complex and costly, and the customer uptake would be lower. So the cons for banking chatbots, something that you need to keep in mind is that the history of the banking conversation will stay unless the user explicitly delete those. So that's some education to include when you are providing a banking chatbots to make sure that people would delete those conversations, especially when you have some personal data coming in the chatbot, for instance, loan balance or account balance. And also you have to keep in mind that data are transiting through the messaging platform you are integrated with. It doesn't mean that it's unsecure. So obviously you make sure that your system chatbots and the core banking system will communicate together in a safe way. But all those data are transiting through the messaging platform. So now I will leave it to my colleague Sarah so that you can find out if chatbots are the right solution for your organization.
Great, thank you so much. So yes, as we are part of a Chatbot and Conversational AI Summit, I'll take you through a few reflections that you can have as an organization on if banking chatbots are the right digital channel for you. So first of all, you need to think about your digital strategy. As you know, chatbots are very excellent for customer acquisition. So if customer acquisition is a big part of your digital strategy, then a chatbot might be right for your organization. You also, they're also very adapted for organizations that want to pursue around digital literacy and financial education. And if you're also in an environment where the automatic collection of customer data and documentation is allowed, because chatbots are really an excellent channel for collecting eKYC, for example. You also obviously need to be thinking about your customers. So chatbots are particularly adapted for populations of digital literacy where they feel comfortable communicating through simple text, and that they are very much active on messaging platforms such as WhatsApp and Messenger. As my colleague mentioned earlier, the real benefit in terms of customer acquisition and retention really comes by fitting into user interfaces that they're already comfortable with. And finally, you also need to think about your operations. So is your organization looking to invest in a new digital channel? And if you are looking to invest in a new digital channel, do you want the channel to be able to serve multiple use cases and multiple customer segments over time? If so, a chatbot might be right for your organization. And finally, are you looking for a channel that can integrate to your current core banking system, databases, and data visualization software? In that case, then this might be the right channel for you. And I'm going to hand it back to my colleague Emily, who will now go into more detail about the different types of chatbot solutions.
Thanks, Sarah. So we have developed a matrix to guide you on which type of chatbot use case would better fit your organization based on two different dimensions. As you can see here on the x-axis, we're talking about banking environment. So how is the market like in the country you are operating in? With two sort of extreme. On the left side, you would have a banking environment that is a little bit more cash, agency banking, and mobile money based, Whereas on the other extreme, you would have a banking environment where you have plenty of apps on the market, internet banking that is offered for most of the banks and MFIs, and a good fintech scene. On the y-axis, we're talking more about you as a bank. What is your level of digitalization right now? So on the bottom, we could think of a bank where the core business is still mainly remain in a traditional way of working, as well as more manual processes. And on the top extreme of this, on this axis, would be a full suite of digital products and processes, so that you're already providing different channels and different ways for your customers to engage with your bank, as well as providing banking transactions into different ways. So I won't go over the use cases again. I think that was clear for now, but I wanted at least to help you a little bit understand what would be the different position depending of your current situation. So a lead generation chatbot would be, let's say, the simpler use cases, and then as you grow, it could turn into a customer service chatbot, for instance. So here you can see that we're using the same technology, but the use cases are changing over time depending of your situation. So over to you, Sarah.
So actually, if you're interested in knowing more about the best type of banking chatbot solution for your organization, you can actually flash this code on your screen right now, and it will take you to a survey where you'll be asked a series of questions around the banking environment in which you operate and the digital strategy of your organization. And based on those answers, we will have a recommendation on what could be the right banking chatbot for you. So we are now at the end of our webinar today. Thank you so much for your attention, and thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions or clarifications that you would like to know about around the major differences between mobile banking apps and banking chatbots, and if you'd be interested in knowing more about what chatbot solutions are available for your organization, again, feel free to flash the QR codes on your screen right now and reach out to us over WhatsApp, and we'll be happy to set up a call. So thank you very much for